Hey folks, Jake Schneider here with Life as an Outsider. I'm here at Holton Homestead today, sitting with Tyler and Sarah. We're going to talk about bees, we're going to talk about eggs, we're going to talk about being on a farm, what a homestead is. I'm really excited for this one. Check it out.
Not so long ago, didn't need much to make us happy, but now things have changed. We've got problems that take us over. Yeah, I don't need a thing except the thing that you can.
Hey folks, Jake Schneider here with Tyler and Sarah from Holton Homestead. Holton Homestead is based here in Elkhart, just north of Ankeny. Tyler, Sarah, how you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing real well. This is actually the third time we've gone with this, so let's give it a shot. In case you don't know, I always like to shout out Tyler and Sarah. They were the ones that gave me my first actual microphone and arm, so thank you guys for that. You guys have really contributed to Life as an Outsider. I greatly appreciate it.
Seems you've grown well from it, so we're happy you could use it.
I hope so. So, tell me a little bit, Holton Homestead. What is a homestead? What do you guys do here?
Take it away.
I feel like we do everything. No, I'm just kidding. We chose the name Homestead at the beginning because we didn't really know what direction we wanted to go with. So that kind of gave us the opportunity to try a bunch of stuff, and it still kind of fit with the branding and what we believe in.
Yeah, kind of the term homestead is just kind of basic where you live and how you live. So like a farmstead would be where the farm is, maybe not necessarily where you live. So the homestead it just kind of flowed, HH is the rest of our branding. So the homestead is where we lived, and the things we do where we live is kind of what the basis was. And at the time we made the name, we really didn't even know what we were going to be doing exactly. So it kind of gave us a vague outline of anything encompassing going forward.
Because we started out with 6 outlaw chickens.
Yeah.
Hold on, outlaw chickens?
Chickens are the gateway drug.
Yeah. Well, we lived in Ankeny at the time. We were at the gym one day, and our gym was next to Tractor Supply, and they had a big sign outside Tractor Supply that said Chick Days.
I grew up on an acreage that reminds me just like this place, and I did the same thing. I just went to the farm store and bought a bunch of chickens, and so something I was familiar with and used to. And at the time, we were pretty adamant about sourcing good, nutritious food and growing as much as we could ourselves and trying to eat good, and obviously going to the gym at that time. So it kind of all fit, and and currently still Ankeny outlaws chickens 100%. So we took them home. We hid them in our garage as they were chicks, and as they grew, we kind of tried to hide them in our backyard. We had a great big backyard, and there were some people in the neighborhood who also had chickens, so we thought we were safe. But unfortunately, we had the worst neighbor in history right next to us. So long story short, really long story, but the cops were on our front porch knocking on our door almost every single day, over 6 chickens. So
and where we parked and everything else. Again,
yeah, super long story, a terrible neighbor, but it kind of gave us the push we needed to get out of the busy city life and go back to kind of how I grew up. And we kind of stumbled on this place by accident. It was Sarah's best friend's grandpa lived here, and she told me I had to come see it, and came here and looked at it. We had no intentions of moving really at the time. We're buying another place, but right out front of our store here is an apple tree, and as I was mulling over the idea, I just walked over to the apple tree and had an apple on it, and by the time I ate that whole apple, I decided, yeah, let's do it. Let's buy this place and sell our other one. And it's pretty terrible having 2 mortgages at the time, but we got it just in time, and everything worked out. So
awesome. It's a beautiful place too. I highly recommend coming out here. I mean, I I live in Ankeny. I live 10 minutes away. I love coming to this place.
It's not very convenient right now with the construction.
Dude,
Yeah.
seriously. I was getting ready to come up here, and then I took one exit, and it's like, nope, turn around, go back to the next one. So I took
Yeah.
the next one. I'm like, all right, this is getting to be really stupid. But so what is it? You guys have some livestock here. One of the biggest things that you have here is honey. So tell me a little bit about that.
You want to take the lead?
Sure. So I wanted to keep some bees in the backyard. Just a couple of cute little hives. Nothing crazy. I guess I'm technically a third generation beekeeper. My grandpa and dad kept bees before I was ever even a thought. But my grandpa died when I was 7, and I kind of wanted to feel more connected to him or do something that he used to do. So I thought, I'll take a beekeeping class and we'll have a couple hives. It'll be great. So when we did that, I actually got a hive, two hives for not my birthday, for Valentine's Day.
That's a great gift.
Yes, it was.
Bees.
And then right around the time that bees get here, so end of April, first part of May.
First part of April, I think, yeah.
I learned the hard way that you don't wear high heels on the farm, and I broke my foot. So I was in a cast and crutches when the bees got here, and I had to have Tyler install the packages and take care of everything. He gave me piggyback rides out to the hives. But then he got stung, no pun intended.
Yeah.
He caught the love for bees. So he stole my hobby and took it to this whole level I didn't even know existed as far as beekeeping. So that's kind of how it started. I'm going to let him tell you where it's at now.
I was going to say, because you just got back from California, right?
Yeah, so it started off with 2 hives in the backyard, and I pretty much 100% got addicted. And so now, that was, 7 years ago? Yeah.
2016.
Yeah, 2016, we got our first 2 packages. This year, starting out the spring, I should have close to 600 hives, and this is the first year that I'm fully beekeeping self-employed, so giving it a good shot. And yeah, so one of the main things that sets us apart is that we're technically a migratory beekeeping business. So we migrate to California for the almond pollination, and while we're there we also pollinate some fruits like plums and blueberries and cherries if we can. And then yeah, so it's kind of a big ordeal to get all the bees rounded up on a semi and ship them across the country and bring them back. So the bees will actually be slated to come back maybe a week or 10 days, and then we'll be ready to make honey here in Iowa.
It's good honey, too. I got your garlic honey, and I started using it on pork chops and everything. It's good stuff. I highly recommend it. So you talked about being in that city life and realizing, we don't want to be in the city life. So you came out to the homestead. That had to be a huge kind of shock to the system, though.
I don't know. I mean, we both kind of grew up in the country, so it kind of felt like it's where we belong.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny, I grew up, like I said, just like this, just outside of town, so that all my friends lived in town. I had the urge to hang out with them all the time, and growing up, I swore I'd never live outside of town again. I just wanted to live in the city and all the hubbub and fun and all that stuff, but I tried that for just a few years, and then I realized I couldn't stand it and I had to go back. So it's just this big revolving circle back to the roots, I guess. And that kind of, that theme set it for everything. I kind of grew up, big garden, chickens, all that kind of stuff, and I swore I'd never want to do any of that again. I hated all those chores as a kid, but now it's something that I'm drawn to and I appreciate much more.
One of the challenges I can imagine coming from owning a business together is just working together as a couple. How do you guys manage that?
Go ahead.
No, you
Tell him.
it's definitely not easy. We kind of, at first it was difficult because we really didn't know what each other's strengths or weaknesses were in the business. And sometimes,
and we both had full-time jobs.
Yeah, so already the stress on top of that is hard, and then just kind of figuring out who's better at what and getting out of the other person's way and leaning into each other's strengths is extremely important. And first and foremost is you have to have a partner that is supportive and and shares the exact same goals and dreams, if not higher than yours, to push you. None of this would be possible if I didn't have the support. I mean, Sarah kind of mans the fort while I migrate with the bees a couple months out of the year. So if I didn't have her support, there's just no way I could leave. And I think we've kind of given each other our own little divisions or tasks within the businesses, and we've actually kind of split our business a little bit to make things manageable for us both. Like, I have Holton Honeybees, which kind of takes into account like the physical bee work and business part of that, and then Holton Homestead kind of handles most of the retail stuff. So at least our tasks are kind of separate, but we both benefit from it.
Sounds like it's all about that communication too.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, back to the support, like, I was very fortunate. I haven't worked a full-time job since 2017 because I wanted to be here. I wanted to make this work. That was a big change for us. Like, I pretty much just walked out of my full-time job, and I mean, Tyler's like, yeah, like, we'll make it work. So that was kind of scary. Of course, I worked a ton of part-time jobs in between there with all kinds of weird hours, server life and all that stuff to make ends meet and to also do what I want to do. But yeah, the least I could do is return the favor of support when it's time for him to do something crazy. But this will be, my second year full-time here? Or like...
I'm not good with time, but
man,
yes.
Time's just flying by anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and you guys are doing so many awesome things, including all these different farmers markets. And as Sarah and I were talking earlier, last year you guys were at 5 different farmers markets a week.
Yeah, that's insane. I don't recommend that.
Yeah. It kind of goes to the general theme of all the way from the beginning. We've always kind of casted a wide net and see what's possible, get some good feelers out, and then just kind of whittle away and find what really works for us. So
yeah, you don't know until you try.
exactly. Yeah. And speaking of farmers markets, we'll be going to one new one this year. You want to make that announcement?
Yeah, I finally decided we're one of the crazy vendors, and we're going to be at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go.
On the
Awesome.
on the 20th, right?
No,
no.
this weekend's our first weekend,
Oh,
the
yeah.
13th.
See,
Yeah.
I'm bad with time.
But the 20th is the first Ankeny market.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So they're all coming up.
they're
That's
all
awesome.
coming up. Yeah, we're at Valley Junction tonight, so yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love supporting farmers markets and talking to different vendors from farmers markets. And I think that all kind of ties back into one thing that in the very first episode that we talked about, before we lost all the audio, is we talked a lot about community and building up that community. What would you say that having such a strong community has done for you guys as a business and also personally?
Do you want me to go?
I'll get this one. So I think even our business was built on community and support from our community, because really selfishly we moved out here to do our own thing, like grow our own garden, have our own eggs, and we had so much love and support from friends and people in the area that when we started to have surplus or just more interest, it kind of gave us that push, because I do think everybody has a calling back to the land, if you will. Even if they can't do it themselves, they're more than willing to support it. And you find that community by you either surround yourself with them or they surround you. And I don't think any of this would be possible without the support of the community, whether or not it was by design or on accident. But 100% of this business is built on community and support of local food and better nutrition and just overall better for the landscape.
You guys talked a lot about sustainability as well. With the world kind of in the shape that it is, I think of the time during 2020 when we had so many different shortages with food, and eggs were getting up to, $6-7 a piece, which in Iowa we've never really had. Like in the bigger cities like New York and LA, like that's pretty normal. But that sustainability is such a key factor, I think, to promoting your business as well as promoting that sense of community as a whole. I mean, what would you guys say about that?
So 2020 was obviously a crazy year for everyone, but the highlights that I remember from it is our customers. I mean, obviously there weren't a lot of places that were open to the public during that time, and we decided to not follow the rules and be a place that was open and you could still come out and get your eggs and honey. And also it was just like a place for people to go because they couldn't really leave their house very often. Obviously we took as much care as possible as far as what was going on, but it was amazing to see how many people came. We had lines out the door. The support was incredible, and I think a lot of those people that found us in that crazy year stuck with us, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I think to the sustainability part too, is also going back to casting the wide net. We've tried to kind of do it all, and it's been tough to do. So we might have some poultry and some eggs and some honey, but when we have customers that are in that mindset of sustainability and are looking for better options for a little everything, we can't just be the one-stop shop, and I wish we could, but that's where networking with like West 40 or other local farms and all that stuff, and we kind of build this sustainability
Network.
Yeah, more so than just what we can offer. We do what we can, and that's, I think, what everybody is trying to do, but the sustainability goes above and beyond when you start to just stack on local farms or networking or recommendations. There's so many people out here doing great things, and not all of them are retail or quite as out in the open as you would think. So people like West 40, and here in the store we do offer some items from people around the area too.
Yeah, that's really cool, and we love West 40. Teresa's fantastic. She was one of my first guests on here, and yeah, it just keeps going back to that community, doesn't it? Like, just supporting the community and sustaining our community through providing fantastic products, whether it's honey or eggs like you were talking about. I mean, you guys also have duck eggs, which is fantastic. I mean, how many other places in Iowa that are pretty stinking close to a big city can you get duck eggs?
Which is why we're always sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep meaning to come up and grab some, and then as soon as I see them, it's like, oh, we're sold out already.
Yeah, they're
All right,
gone.
come on, I live 10 minutes away. That shouldn't. But that's fantastic to hear. What are some of the ways that you hope to continue to grow Holton Homestead over the next coming years?
So we have something in the works now. It's taking a lot longer than we had hoped for, like every construction project, right? But we signed a lease for a building in Elkhart in January, so we've been working on finishing out the inside of it. It's going to be our licensed kitchen facility, as well as warehouse and possibly the extraction line.
Classroom.
And I definitely want to do a big part of it to be classroom, where we want to offer hands-on workshops, classes for everything, not just taught by us, but have other people in there and just kind of have it be like a nice learning space. We've always wanted to do a lot of that. Like, this was my first year teaching beginning beekeeping classes. I've also taught a lot of cast iron cookware classes in the past, canning classes, all that stuff that people are dying to know how to do. We want to be able to offer that. And obviously you see the space we're in. We can't host that kind of stuff here like we'd like to. So that was a big push for this space. Plus, we'd been renting commercial kitchen space, so to have our own and not have to haul all of our stuff everywhere is going to be excellent.
That's awesome. Congratulations, guys. That's fantastic to hear.
Thank you.
And now that I'm going to be focusing a lot more of my time full-time into the bees, I'm hoping to expand on that a little bit too, not only just the honey production and growing my colonies and everything like that, but what comes along with that is providing bees to beginners or people who want to replace some hives or grow their apiaries. Part of the beekeeping business is supplying bees for people, and I'm a pretty terrible salesman, but I just want to same with the theme of this business as well. The homestead is just a place to provide a good source if somebody's looking. I hate to be a pushy salesman and trying to sell all these bees to people, especially if maybe you don't even want them. But if you want bees, I want to provide a good option for somebody. So,
and eventually all the equipment that they would need to.
So yeah, with the store that will be, or the new building that we'll have, I'm hoping to provide a little more equipment and items that are necessary for beekeeping, which is strange because we're right outside the capital, one of the largest populations in the state, and it's extremely hard to get beekeeping equipment without just having to order it online and pay more in shipping than it is for the item. So hoping to give back to the beekeeping community a little bit.
I think one thing that you're touching on, which is really cool, is so many small business owners and entrepreneurs, they're gatekeepers of their own secrets. Instead, you guys are talking about starting classes for beekeeping and selling the equipment. I think that's huge, and I think that's one thing that definitely should be touched on is, we've heard that term a lot in the last couple of years is gatekeeping. Like, oh, well, you're gatekeeping this or you're gatekeeping that. I think that's such a big thing to think about in small businesses as well, because everybody, small businesses are struggling, and most of them are kind of turning inwards and they're looking at themselves. Meanwhile, you guys are still continually looking at how can we give back to that community. And I think that's huge. I think that's one thing that Iowa definitely needs more of, is not just bees, but also people to teach other people about it.
And that's something we've always been passionate about. Like, we're not afraid to teach people how to do it, and maybe sounds crazy to some people, like we're giving away all the secrets, but I challenge anyone to be as crazy as us and try and do it all. So
yeah, I mean, it's what I've noticed over time is you can show somebody how to do it, but when they realize the work involved and their time constraints and all that stuff, they might end up just being your customer anyway. But I don't really see how you can put a lot of value, especially monetary value, on something that isn't, beekeeping isn't something that I have mastered or I'm the only one who knows. I mean, there's a stack of books everywhere you go. And yeah, sometimes your time and experience is worth money, but it's also not mine to own and gatekeep. So I've asked a lot of questions to get where I am, and I got a lot of answers from people, so the least I can do is do the same.
And I mean, there's so many people that are doing the same thing we're doing. Like, you can go to any farmer's market, there's going to be other people selling honey and stuff, right? So we just have to figure out how ours is different or make ourselves stand out, and I mean, anyone can kind of do that.
Yeah, I don't really see people as
a threat,
as competition. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of makes you want to step up and do a better job, or if we're not the option for you, I can recommend you the next person that I would suggest. So
how do you stand out? How do you make yourselves distinct?
I definitely have a deep passion for marketing. I would say, we always get compliments on our labels and booth setup, stuff like that. I mean, I'm actually invited to teach a course on this next year at a homesteader
conference or something.
Yeah, a conference.
Awesome.
But they, it's how you present yourself. So some basic rules that I've always told my employees and myself, especially for a farmer's market booth, you will never see us sitting behind our booth in chairs. We're always standing up. We're always greeting people that are walking by. I mean, if you go around and look at a farmer's market and you see there's people who choose to sit down, and, you know, that's fine if that works for them. But you can kind of notice that there's not as many people at their booth maybe, or people walk past them easier. So that's a number one thing, is just being there and presenting yourself to customers. And then also your display is huge. You know, a lot of times if you walk past a booth, and I'm going to call out honey people because this is definitely a honey thing, they'll have one table with all the honey just like sat out at the same level, you know, and nothing against that. Like, that's old school way, but I feel like as soon as you raise it up and it's higher to eye level, or there's dimension to your table, like, it just draws people in. So little things like that, little changes.
And even outside of farmers markets and stuff, beekeeping in general, I think one of the biggest pet peeves I see is people, you know, especially new beekeepers. I get it, everything's kind of expensive, but you go through all the hard work of getting your bees set up in the spring, get them into the summer where they make a lot of honey. You do all the hot and sticky work of extracting the honey and getting in the jar, and then there's no label. There's no pride in the product. Not only is it disrespectful to the bees who worked really hard for it, but you don't even want to put your name on it, and
Right.
you're not proud of this product that I think honey is magical. Bees almost seem like they pull it out of thin air. So just be proud of what you do, and I think it shows.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fantastic way to kind of start to wrap up on as we get to the end of our episode. We've talked so much about supporting communities, so much about supporting each other and that sustainability. So tell us, how can we support you guys as Holton Homestead and as Holton Honeybees?
Go ahead.
Of course, you can support, not even by spending any money. Follow us on social media. We've Facebook, Instagram. You can join our newsletter. Basically, just by sharing our posts, liking our stuff, that helps spread the word a lot without you spending a dime. But if you do feel compelled to spend some money with us, of course, you can find us at any of the farmers markets. On our website, we have a list of all of our locations. We're in over 60 retail locations around the area, including West 40. So that would be a great way to help support.
Yeah, and we're always looking for more options to better serve the area. So if there's a grocery store or store you think that would benefit by us having honey in the store, we'd love to hear it. As far as beekeeping, just keep planting more flowers and stuff like that. Will be maybe don't mow your lawn all the time. It would be helpful.
Are you still looking for?
Yes, I'm getting there. Yeah, so you can also support Holton Honeybees or just bees in general. If you have a location outside of the city and might benefit by having some bees on your property, I'm always looking for new locations. And if I can't service that area, I do know beekeepers all around this area that would love to bring bees. We really rely on landowners renting us a little plot in the corner of their property, and we pay in honey. So you can get the bees and the honey without all the work and the stings.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. Awesome. Well, folks, you heard it here. There's different ways to support not West 40. You can find their stuff at West 40. Wow, we're
you
sitting
can
here.
support West 40
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Please do support West 40, or Teresa would kill me if I didn't say that. But no, support Holton Honey and Holton Homestead. There's so many different ways, whether it's at farmers markets or coming up and visiting. I mean, we're sitting in their little shack right now, their little storefront. It's fantastic. When are you guys open up here?
Right now, just Saturdays,
Okay.
10 to 4.
Awesome. Definitely worth stopping in, even if it's a little bit of a journey, just because you have to go across the interstate, fight all the construction and stuff like that. Really cool spot. Definitely worth it. You'll see a massive turkey that you can take a picture with.
His
Yep.
name's Lester.
Yep.
I may or may not have a picture with Lester from last year, but awesome. Well, Tyler, Sarah, this has been fantastic. Thanks for being willing to record for a third time. We made it work.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you very much for the support, and as always, thank you for being outsiders with us.
Thank you.
And folks, like I was saying, There's always different ways to support your small businesses. Check out Holton Honey on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media sites, and come visit them. It's definitely worth a shot. It's definitely worth the visit. They're great people. They're very supportive people. Let's return the favor. Thanks for being an outsider with us. Be kind to each other.
Touch my